Alright then. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Deja vu. Now, the illusion of having previously experienced something actually being encountered for the first time. These are a psychological term you're gonna see in the latest movie I have seen, which is none other than Happy Death Day to You. Okay, I gotta be honest. I saw this movie the same day I saw Alita Battle Angel. Actually, I even saw it right after that movie. The only thing is that I don't usually try to make 2 reviews in one day. But, okay, it's time for me to talk about this film. This is the sequel of a movie called Happy Death Day, which came out 2 years ago, which is basically a slasher film version of Groundhog Day. Basically it's about a person who gets trapped on a time loop in which it repeats the same day over and over and over and over again. While Bill Murray is trapped in Groundhog Day, the main character of the Happy Death Day film, a girl named Tree, she is trapped on her own birthday. I gotta admit that when I saw the first movie, I actually really like it. For a Blumhouse film, it's probably one of the better materials that they got. It's not only just a typical horror film with bratty teenagers or adults playing teenagers, something like that, or whatever you want to call it. You can notice that it was well written. It has this dark humor in it that is kind of laughable, but not laughable in the terms that, oh, they made this unintentionally bad. And they even have some character weight in it. A little bit of a summary of at least the first movie. The first movie, we follow this character named Tree, who she's kind of like the most mean-spirited character you could ever imagine. She disses almost everyone, even her own father. She has problems that she can't get over the death of her mother and all this stuff. She treats almost everyone badly. Even her roommate and all this stuff, until she's stalked by someone who is wearing the mask of some kind of baby mask, let's say. Kind of a mask that kind of makes it look like Baby Herman from Roger Rabbit. But the point is that this stalker is following our character Tree, and that kills her. But every time she gets killed, she doesn't technically stay dead. She comes back on the morning of her birthday, and so she kind of loops herself into that. She goes on and on and on. Every time she gets killed, she relieves those experiences. Everything acts again the same, and the only difference is what actions she takes and all this stuff. But not only that, she gets trapped into this insanity. It also kind of serves her to turn into a better person, and that, well, let's say that it kind of worked. And yeah, the movie did end. It did end with her breaking the loop, because she was actually kind of a little bit on a time limit that I'll get to that. And it ended well. The only thing that the first movie didn't have is an explanation of why the time loop happened. And you know what? It was kind of like it didn't need it to be. I think Groundhog Day didn't have another explanation of why this has happened. But man, then we got the sequel. And the sequel, I was really curious. I never expected that this movie needed a sequel, but I was open. I was open to see it because the trailer looks really, really funny. And it kind of gave out a hint that probably they're going to tell us why that time loop thing happened to her. And we got that. And we got even more. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna hold you back, but I will say that you should watch Happy Death Day to watch Happy Death Day 2U. And on the get-go, I will say that this movie is great. I really came out really happy with this film. It's probably one of the funniest horror movies I have seen at least this year, even though the year technically kind of started. And not on the unintentional way. This one was well written and really well acted, and so much that I just came out loving it. So there. I totally recommend it. Check it out. And if you saw it right now and you want to hear my opinion, my doors are open. Alright, did you return for the movie? Alright, here we go. So the second movie actually takes place right after the first movie, in which the time loop thing in which one getting killed and then come back in the same day, it actually happened to it began to happen to the guy next to let's say to the Asian nerdy guy this time. He gets killed by some stalker with a baby mask face, which in the last movie it is revealed that the mask belongs to a mascot of the football. It was basketball team or basketball team. So the guy gets killed. And he then wakes up again in the same day, and he begins to realize, dude, I'm having this weird sensation. And when he tells her main character, Tree, she's like, hey, you get killed by the guy with a baby face, and then you wake up in the same day. Yep. It happened to me. Okay, I'll give you this I think it was like a 10-second cliff note version and fast forward of the whole first movie, which it right away tells you the tone of the movie. That's gonna be hilarious. So he's like, oh shit, I think I know why that happened. Really? Show me. So we finally, right at the get-go, we finally get the why this time loop thing happened to her. And here's the thing. All this thing happened because that guy, that Asian guy, what was the name of the guy? Ryan, I think it was called, playing by Fibu. Yeah. This guy and his couple of nerdy friends, they were doing a science project that involves a machine that kind of looked like a mini Stargate or something like that. And they were trying to manipulate time and quantum physics. And they in the same day in which Tree was on her birthday, these guys they tried it out. So eventually they build up so essentially they mess it up with time and the quantum physics and all this stuff. And now this guy is trapped into this time loop. And she's like, dude, we're gonna help you, but this is your responsibility still. So, guess what? They did solve the situation in the first 10-15 minutes. And we even find out that the killer right in the get-go is none other than the same guy himself. That's the Ryan guy. And he just killed the other guy because in this world they should not exist two versions of him. So he has to kill one so the other one can stay because it's gonna, or else there's a time paradox. And there's this whole lunacy in which then all the characters gather around into that machine in which they're trying to fix everything. But at the same time, this wacky dean of education, he just goes there with two cops to try to stop the project because it costs money. Yeah. He's so cartoonish. Oh man. But during the whole struggle, a we get this big shockwave explosion, and then what happened? This is where the movie really starts. In which we follow Tree again, and this time she's reliving her birthday again, the first movie again, and then she realizes that things are slightly different. Here are the things that happen. She's now stuck in another time loop, but in a parallel dimension. So things are happening again, and now she's stuck with a parallel dimension. And there are some things different here. The few differences that are first, her boyfriend Carter. He's now dating her nemesis, who is let's say that even a more mean-spirited character named Danielle. In which Danielle is kind of like this drama queen, know-it-all, and all this stuff, instead of kind of like the bitchy cheerleader. Another key difference is that a little bit of a spoiler for the first movie. Her roommate is not the killer this time. This time they're really friends. And the third difference, which is actually more important, is that Tree's mother is still alive. Oh, but there's a problem still. There's still a killer. There's still a killer, but this time, since the killer is not Tree's roommate, it's a different killer this time. And that killer is still not just stalking her, but appearing everywhere else. But at the same time, Tree must recruit those nerdy friends, because still they're responsible for this whole shenanigan, and they must find a solution to make her return to her own time, so the loop can close again for good. And let me tell you, things are not that easy. When I mean that it's not that easy, is that I'll say that the solution to the whole problem is that they must solve they must get an equation so the machine can work properly. But unfortunately, in order for the machine to work, the machine can work properly, but it could take like days or lots of tries to come up with the correct algorithm. And unfortunately, the nerds and any of the characters can't do it because Tree is the only one who experienced that time loop. And whenever she goes into a time loop, everything is erased. All writings are erased and all this stuff. So her only solution is that she has to memorize the whole algorithm. She has to deal with all the days and all this stuff. Oh my god. I wish I could stop right there, but there are some things that I do want to say. First of all, you know that you see in the trailer that well, let's say that they don't want to give the killer the satisfaction of killing Tree or something like that, or killing anyone or all this stuff. So they say that, okay, Tree, you have to memorize that algorithm. Oh, this is gonna be hard, but this guy is gonna kill me all over again. Then kill yourself. What? Well, this is better than being killed by the other guy. Oh man, and that sequence of which she tries to memorize the algorithm, failing one and in the other, and it always ends up with her killing herself with kind of like the most hilarious way you could think of. She just drops a hair dryer into the bathtub while being connected, so she electrocutes herself. She drinks bleach, and probably my favorite of them all, and that actually tells the tone of the movie, in which she just goes skydiving 100 feet up in the air on her bikinis. She just drops down, and there is this moment in which her boyfriend and Danielle are are having this romantic moment, and then the camera makes a slow mo shot of Tree falling down to her death in her bikini, and she just falls down and goes. "Ah!" That moment was probably the most I laughed. And there are so many funny dialogue that this movie has that it just made me really, really, really laugh. And yeah, it's a big for a movie that should be about a slasher horror. It just comes out being that's really, really funny if you don't take this movie very seriously. But I'll say something that this movie is also not without any moment that makes you think, because one of the biggest things that this movie has is that Tree finally gets the chance to relive a moment in which her mother is alive. And not many people have that chance, but it also becomes bittersweet in which she also has to go with the dilemma in which she has to go return to her own dimension in which her mother is dead. And she has to pick two sides, but also she has to deal with the fact that her boyfriend is not her boyfriend anymore, and all that. It kind of becomes a really hard choice for her. But one thing I'll say is that I'm not going to reveal exactly what it is and what does she chooses. But there is one moment in which I absolutely cry. I did cry on that moment, and it's really, really endearing. It's probably one of the most endearing moments that Blumhouse films have ever done. And I have this love-hate relationship with Blumhouse. I love a lot of his movies. I know that most movies don't take it seriously, but man, never in my life I felt kind of like my heartstrings go like that. But now that I remember, probably the last time Blumhouse films reach my heart was actually ever since The Gift. And for a movie that is just technically a dark comedy, it worked. It really worked. And it does help if you watch the first movie. I'm exactly not gonna say anything, but I will say this. Go hug your mother. Go hug your mother and tell her that you love her. That's all I have to say. At this point, I think that I'm not gonna say much about this movie. It's a movie that you have to experience for yourself. I actually encourage you to watch this movie more than Alita Battle Angel. Oh, I forgot to mention that the reveal of the new killer and everything is not exactly 100% a surprise, but you might get confused if you haven't seen the first movie. And, well, just like the first movie, it does end happily, but unlike the first movie, I've gotta warn you that there is a stinger, a crazy mid-credit stinger, in which probably it might, but it's not 100% guaranteed. It might show that there's gonna be a third movie. Well, I personally say that, no, don't make another sequel with the same characters. I'm still open. I'm still open for it. But I technically recommend you that if you're gonna make a sequel out of it, or kind of like another story, don't make the same character. Do it with other characters. But I'll say this, that this killer with that baby face mask, I'll call it babyface. I would think that it's iconic enough to become its own horror icon, let's say. A hilarious horror icon, but okay, I think it fits into the same vein, let's say, like Chucky. Oh yeah, come to think of it, Chucky is gonna have a, I don't know if it's a reboot, sequel, or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Don't worry about it. But anyways, just check it out. Check it out. Happy Death Day 2. I think you're not gonna regret watching this film. Something. Oh my God! I forgot that I had an appointment. Oh, it's too late. I got an idea. Yeah.